your feelings this hour now that the Gaza ceasefire has been confirmed?
Yes, the long-awaited ceasefire deal has been reached after 467 days of brutal...
467 days.
15 months of brutal genocide amid the watchful eyes of the international community. It's moments of joy. People in Gaza, despite the pain and sorrow and sadness, they're celebrating in the streets and the alleyways and in the refugee camps across the Gaza Strip. Thousands of Palestinians still under the rubble, their bodies still buried under the rubble, including my sister, nephews and nieces, and thousands of other Palestinians. I would like at this moment to pay our tribute to the martyrs, our prayers to the victims and martyrs of those family who lost loved ones, those who were under this huge pressure, unable to sleep, unable to have a normal life. Tons of bombs were dropped on Gaza. People were starved to death in Gaza. People died as a result of cold weather. Hospitals were destroyed.
Are you confident that phase one will be carried out smoothly, that will reach phase two as well? And how much pressure, how much influence will Donald Trump have for this to succeed?
Well, this depends on the mediators, the Qatari, Egyptian, the American administration, whether it's Biden administration or elect Donald Trump. They have to monitor, they have to exercise their pressure on the Israeli side, because remember, it's the Israeli side who always violates these ceasefires and truces, and this deal will go into effect on Sunday. So we have 3 days. And now Israel has been intensifying its aerial attacks, killing civilians and killing 10 children tonight.
Even today, yeah.
So people will continue to suffer until the deal will go into effect. This has to do with the good intention of the US administration, because they are the only power on earth that they can pressure Netanyahu to accept
Why so long,
the deal.
Youssef? Why, as Biden said, he clearly said it there, that this was the same deal that we had on the table back in spring.
We were supposed to have a ceasefire back in May, but Netanyahu kept rejecting. He kept imposing more conditions. I think Netanyahu has failed to achieve his stated goals. He failed to free the hostages, despite the fact some say that he knows where they are, but he doesn't care about them. He wants to prolong the genocide to prove his point. He wants to uproot Hamas. He wants to break the will of the Palestinian people. He wants to stay in power, and he wants to show the Israeli society that he's a tough guy.
This point, the third phase, I know that the details are still very raw, but of course it talks about the third phase, what happens next, how they rebuild. What are your concerns here? Hopefully we do get to this phase.
Yeah.
What happens to Gaza? What happens to the Palestinians? Who rules Gaza?
There is lack of trust. That's why Hamas put a condition that this deal should be implemented on 3 phases. They want to test the good intention of the Israelis, because they might change their opinion. And because remember, Israel wanted to release the hostages and continue the war. And Hamas insisted from day one. They said, we are not willing to accept a ceasefire without a total halt to the Israeli hostilities. So in order for this deal to be implemented, there must be intervention on part of the mediators. Aid trucks must be allowed into Gaza. Rafah crossing must be reopened. And also Israeli withdrawal is expected from the Philadelphia route along Gaza-Egypt border, and also from the Netzarim route, which separates Gaza to north and south. So it's going to be gradual implementation of this deal. What's important now is to halt these military activities, to allow people in the north, in the south, to go back. Because remember, Israel has displaced Palestinians internally. You've got 2 million people displaced in the south.
Many people want to go north. What is left to go home to?
There is nothing left. Israel destroyed much of Gaza. The northern parts of the Gaza Strip, Beit Hanun, Beit Lahi, Jabalia, leveled to the ground. Entire neighborhoods were wiped out. So those people, they will go back to live on the ruins of their houses in tents. They don't care. They say we would love to go back even if we sleep on the floor.
Because this is resilience, isn't it? This is their land, this is their home, this is a real Palestinian spirit.
Palestinians are the indigenous people of the land, and they have nowhere to go. And Gaza is a concentration camp. There are no exit points. There is still no safe place in Gaza. Israel bombs from the air, from the sea, from the ground. Gaza has been under a crippling Israeli naval blockade, siege, and restrictions. What goes into Gaza, what goes out of Gaza has to be approved by the Israeli authorities. So the reconstruction of Gaza will be restricted. Israel will have to put its conditions. It will be a very slow process. To remove the rubble, it will take years. And to rebuild Gaza, it will take years. I was in Gaza in the summer of 2023, 1 month before the genocide. I was lucky to see my beautiful city before it's being destroyed forever.
Which is your city? Which one?
Gaza City.
Gaza City itself, yeah.
And I was lucky to reunite with my family after being away for so long. And I met my sister Asma, who was martyred. And I'm producing a documentary film to maintain the legacy of Gaza for the next generations to see, because the next generation will not be able to see how beautiful Gaza was. If Gazans are given the chance to have a normal life, they will rebuild their city. Israel is restricting the Palestinians of Gaza, treating them as subhumans. It will take years for people to gather the shattered pieces of their lives. It's not easy to go back into normality. 2 million people, they suffer from psychological distress and trauma and scars. Children, they are denied the right to go to school. Schools are destroyed, hospitals are destroyed, universities destroyed. 600 trucks of aid must be allowed into Gaza for a whole year. The Rafah border crossing must be reopened to allow thousands of injured people to receive advanced medical attention abroad. And for those people who are and those people who are stranded in the Egyptian side to go back. Also, the reconstruction must start as soon as possible. But of course, the jubilation will be much wider when the Palestinian political prisoners will be released, including Palestinian hostages. You have hundreds of Palestinian minors and women are being held without a charge or trial, and those Palestinian hostages will see the light after years being behind Israeli captivity. Nothing infuriates Netanyahu and his army generals more than Palestinians' joy, celebration, and steadfastness. Today, I would like to salute the Palestinians of Gaza for enduring this horrific genocide, the most documented genocide live streamed for the past 15 months on our smartphones and TV stations amid the watchful eyes of the international community, who did little to pressure Israel to end the genocide. Now what matters to the people of Gaza is to have a normal life, to have a proper sleep, to go back to their houses in the north or in the south, to have a proper meal, to drink healthy water, to use the toilet. There are many things that are being denied.
Basic human needs, like you say, just to use the toilet. They've been living in tents, right?
Cold in the summer. It's really devastating. It's a man-made disaster. I was lucky in the summer of 2023. I was in Gaza. I was able to see the beauty of Gaza. I met my family. Now everything is destroyed. And Netanyahu is I think he's going to be very angry, actually, when he sees the resistance releasing the hostages or the captives while he's watching on TV screen how Palestinians are celebrating. I think he's very embarrassed that he failed to break the will of the Palestinian people.
Benjamin Netanyahu failed to break the will of the Palestinian people. That's a strong statement. That's an important statement.
I mean, look, Palestinians are suffering. They lost loved ones. They are in pain, and yet they are smiling. I think this is a thorn in Netanyahu's throat. I think he's going to have nightmares for the innocent children and civilians who he has killed, for his army generals, for the Israeli soldiers who are bragging about their crimes, so sharing their crimes online.
That very point is something that also our guest, Akiva Eldar from Haaretz, said. He said that Benjamin Netanyahu has been weakened. Well, this ceasefire has weakened Benjamin Netanyahu. What do you make of that?
He doesn't care about his people.
He doesn't care. There's
hostages. About the families of the hostages. And I think he was controlled by his fanatic right-wing official, Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, who continued to restrain him and say, if you dare doing that, we are going to dissolve the government. I think he is a supremacist, psychopath leader. He's going to be remembered as the person who gave the orders to slaughter 15,000 Palestinian children, starving the population of Gaza. And I think it's up to the Israeli society to rise up and get rid of him and send him to prison.
Which could happen. It could happen, Yusuf. I mean, there are so many legal charges against him. Well, he does have an arrest warrant internationally. maybe with this commission that's going to start to investigate the security failures of the 7th of October, but...
Not only him, I think we would like to see his army generals, every single Israeli soldier who killed innocent Palestinian will have to bear the consequences, because all lives matters. Palestinian lives matters. No one has got a superiority over the other person. No one is God's chosen people. We are human beings, and we must be treated equally.
Absolutely. Yusuf Al-Helou, thank you very much indeed for being with us here today at TRT World on this very important day and sharing your personal and also...
I hope it will last.
Thank you. Absolutely. We do hope that ceasefire lasts and will be in a different place next week. Thank you.